Welcome back to the Magic Hours. I am Zoe Flowers, and we are here to talk about the Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo. So, we are right now in what's called the shadow of the retrograde. A lot of people are familiar with the Mercury retrograde, but the Venus retrograde is quite rare. Um, the last time that Venus was in retrograde, I want to say it was 2015. Let me just double check. And anytime we have, yes, it was July 25th to September 6th, 2015. That was the shadow. And then it went retrograde from June 21st to October 9th. So you can think back to what you were doing in 2015, and that might give you a little insight into what might be lit up for you this time around. So when a planet goes retrograde, to us, it looks like it's actually moving backwards, but the planets do not move backwards. It just appears that way to us. And just like the Mercury retrograde, it is a time for us to reimagine the aspects that the planet will be lighting up for us. So whereas when it's Mercury retrograde, that's a time to look at our communication, that's a time to look at, things around commerce and things like that. So when we think about the Venus retrograde, so I actually have some notes here that I want to share, some of my notes, because when we think about the Venus retrograde, I want to give you some ideas if you don't know about the things that Venus actually rules. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the sign of Leo, and we're going to talk a little bit about the sun, because the sun rules the planet Leo, to again give you a sense of what areas of your life might be lit up. I highly recommend, if you don't have your birth chart, to definitely get that so you can see where your placements are, so you'll get a better sense of what aspects are going to be lit up by this transit. So Venus is magnetic. She is a magnetic planet, or a generator. The planet, sorry, I'm working very hard to take the gender out of the planets. So this planet is related to an affinity for balance. So of course, Venus rules the sign of Libra, and it also rules the sign of Taurus. So it is a planet of sensuality, the things of the senses, the touch, the smell, the aesthetics of a thing, right? It also has to do with the things you value. It has to do with worth, particularly when you are talking about Taurus, right? Very much has to do with what you value. In the case of Taurus, which is earth, it's the things of value that you can hold in your hands, right? Material things. It's about love. It's about lust. We get that word when we think about venereal diseases. That is related to Venus and pleasure, right? Let's see, what else? Venus is a planet that seeks to blend. So why am I talking like that? I don't know why I'm talking like that. Blend. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, so Venus is wanting to blend. Whereas when we have Mars, which is a fire sign, which separates, Venus wants to blend. Okay. And anything else about Venus? No, that's it. That's it for Venus right now, right? So again, magnetic, justice, sensuality, beauty, worth, value, love, lust, pleasure. So these are the things that we are going to be reviewing, right, during this transit. What is the quality of our self-worth? What is the quality of our relationships? Okay, because Venus is also considered an inner planet because it's closer to the sun. And so when a planet is an inner planet, it is actually a social planet. And so it's how do we relate to other people? How do we relate to ourselves? Is there anything else I want to say about? No, I think that's it. That's it for Venus right now, right? So you already know what it's giving, right? Then we have Leo. So we have fire. So Leo is a fixed sign. So, planets can be fixed. When it's fixed, that means it's firmly in the season, right? So when we are in Leo, we are in summertime. We are fixed in summertime. When we are in Gemini season, we are between spring and summer. That's what that means. Or they can be cardinal, and the cardinal signs lead us into the season. So Cancer is a cardinal sign as it initiates us into summer. Okay. So Leo is fixed, fire. So again, you already know what it gives. It is the star of the zodiac. It is the king or the queen. It is the heart and the will of the people. It is romantic. It sits across from the zodiac. On the zodiac, it sits across from Aquarius. So whereas Aquarius can be very, because it's air, it can be very detached, right? That's not Leo. Leo is going to be like, where they're coming from, right? For the most part, their emotions. And it has to do with their force of will. If you think about, gosh, I wish I had my, yeah, I don't have it handy. I'm not going to look for it either. But if you think of if you think of the strength card in the tarot, the figure is taming that primal force, which is the lion, right? And so it is all about the will, right? It's strong in places where acknowledgement, appreciation, and adoration are compulsory. So when you think about the stage, when you think about movies, when you think about making love in the bedroom, when you think about the classroom, also when you think, I think Obama is a Leo, if I'm not mistaken, or he has a Leo placement. So places where adoration is going to come. I know Madonna's a Leo for sure, Jennifer Lopez. So again, and it goes on and on and on. Like if you look at all the celebrities that have heavy Leo placements or are Leos themselves, right? And so, and they can also be the teacher. All right. So that's Leo. So again, when we think about Venus and we think about Leo, right? The planet's going to be in the sign of Leo. So it's like, what is your relationship, I'm hearing, to your star quality, right? And then I want to say a little bit about the sun, because the sun rules Leo. So obviously we have the sun and the moon. Those are our luminaries, right? They are the quote unquote king and queen in the sky, with the moon being the queen, the sun being the king. And so the sun, it's the impulse it's what you're aspiring. It's the impulse to be, the impulse to like be something, to do something. The sun illuminates, right? It's about aspiration. It's about a potential energy. It's about character. It's about spirit. Again, it's about the will. It's about that primal, again, like I talked about on the strength card. It is about royalty. My notes I have here, the ego is nothing other than a focus on conscious attention. The sun sets the tempo of class. If someone has a strong sun, they will feel entitled. The sun is about distinction. We are not the same. you can't sit with us, right? That's like the sun energy. Like, just want to let you know, like, we're not the same, right? That's that sun. That's what that sun energy can look and feel like again. And if you know people with strong Leo placements, sometimes they can give you that energy. So what I have here, just as, because, I always like to give antidotes. So I have some Venus oil and I have some sun oil, right? And so these are oils that I get from a place in where I live. And yeah, I've already started to use them just to help me attune to the energy. So again, you already know what we are looking at. What is our worth? What is our self-worth? How can we step into that sun energy? What needs to be illuminated in our life? So I wanted to, again, do something a little different. So with all of that being said, I wanted to see for the collective, for those of you who see this reading, what planet, what energy, what planetary energy should we be working with during this transit, and what house. So just to reiterate, we are in the shadow right now of the retrograde, which means the retrograde has not begun yet. So I'm sorry. So the pre-shadow will actually begin on June 19th. So we are in the pre-shadow. Some of us are already feeling the energy. I'm feeling a little bit of the energy. Because Venus also has to do with our finances, because especially when, again, that Taurus energy, it has to do with our finance, it has to do with the marketplace, it has to do with, again, the things that we value. So I'm already taking stock, taking inventory in how I make my money. I just updated my website, right? I'm just now updating flyers and things like that. I am putting my tarot course, like the paperwork for my tarot course together, right? These are all things that I'm doing while we're in this pre-shadow energy. So again, the pre-shadow will begin 10 days from now, because it's the 9th today. So June 19th, that's when the pre-shadow begins. And then on July 22nd, we will be in the retrograde, okay? The retrograde will end on September 3rd, but then we will be in the post-shadow. And so that energy will still be kicking around with us until October 7th. So I talked to one of my friends today who's a Taurus, and I said to her, by October 7th, we need to be completely different people, right? Like, when I think about the also the retrograde, because we had the 2015 one, and then I think the other one we had was it 2008? Let's see. When was that last retrograde? Aha, 2009. Yeah. So 2009, we had the last retrograde. And at that time, I actually moved from, within that time, I moved from California to Florida, right? And at that time, it was retrograde in Aries. So initiating something new. Okay. And then let's see, 2010. Yep. So then in 2010, it was retrograde from October 8th to November 18th of 2010. And in 2010, I moved from Florida to where I live now. And I actually moved like right after my birthday in October. I think I actually left, my last day at work, I think, was on my birthday of 2010. So that's kind of how it shows up in for me. I'm always moving. So there we go. And funny enough, I'm looking to move now, but so that's super interesting. Okay. So I wanted to look at what houses can we work with this energy. And I got the 11th house. And so the 11th house rules teams, it rules friendships, groups, society, technology, video, electronic media, networking, social justice, rebellion, and humanitarian causes. It also rules originality, eccentricity, sudden events, surprises, invention, astronomy, science fiction, and all things futuristic. This could not be a more perfect house to work on during this time, in my opinion. This is just so perfect to me. So when we think about, particularly because it rules teams, friendships, groups, and societies, and remember I said Venus is a social planet. So again, you might want to go back and see what planets you have in your 11th house. And this will give you a hint on what things you can work on to make it stronger. Now, this is not where, like, my Venus, this transit isn't going to happen in my 11th house, right? So what I have here is like extra things for us to work on, because, I always like to give us extra things. So these are extra things that we can work on in addition to where the sign is transiting your personal birth placements. All right, if that makes sense, right? So then I ask again, what's the other energy that could be lit up during this time? And I got the moon. And the moon has to do with our private, I'm going to read what I have. The moon is the last body. These are from my notes from my astrology class with Sam Reynolds. The moon is the last body as we descend the realm. Below the moon are sublunars. The moon is about the impulse to respond and protect the self-image. The moon is connected with the emotions, right? As we know, when there's a full moon, emotions seem to get higher, right? Things get more spicy. The moon is corresponding to the mother energy, the things of the mother. And so for me, it's like the sun is primal. I feel like the moon is private as well, right? So to me, this is like, how do we really feel about our friendships? How do we really feel about the teams we work on? How do we really feel about technology, how we use technology, how technology is using us, right? How do we feel about our quote unquote future? That is what this says to me. Again, on a secret level, not what we share to the world, but how do we really, really feel, right? On a very deep level. What's also coming up for me too is the influence of the mother on these things. What were the stories that our mothers imprinted on us with regard to our self-worth and our value is what's coming up for me. So that's that on that. Now to the tarot. So we have the Queen of Wands here. And the Queen of Wands in the upright, funny enough, is associated with the sign of Leo. She is always doing for other people, this queen. She's social. She's self-assured. She's passionate, right? So this is actually a perfect sign for this transit, is this Queen of Wands. Like, maybe we need to review because when she's doing so many things, she can also overlook herself. So, where are we putting other people ahead of ourselves? And is this related to what we saw our mother doing? We have the cat here because that has to do with our lower self, right? The things that we are overcoming. Again, thinking about those primal aspects. This is the considered the witchy queen. And so she is our connection between the material world and whatever is on the other side, which very much again makes me think about moon energy, right? So these are the things that could be getting lit up for us during this time. And again, things that bear reflecting on. Are we living our true self, or are we living somebody else's programming? This transit also, which is so funny, we get Ma'at here. Ma'at has to do with balance. One of the things, there's several principles that have to do with Ma'at. I'm not going to get into them here, but basically it is about being in right relationship, about living quote unquote correctly in a way that is beneficial to us. Also, not lost on me that Ma'at is associated with balance and the scales. Libra, ruled by Venus, is represented by the scales. Truth and fairness here. Are we in sacred reciprocity, is what I'm hearing. Are we living our truth? Are we being treated fairly? And are we treating other people fairly? And are we a quote unquote safe space for other people's truth? I'm also hearing, what is our tolerance for other people's truth? So the book says, goddess of harmony, justice, and truth. Again, that's like straight up Libra energy right there. She is usually depicted as a young woman with wings or holding the scepter of power, a symbol of eternal life. She wears an ostrich feather on her head, a symbol of lightness, again, that air energy. Ma'at also represents universal order. All existence moves on the basis of the principle of justice, interpreted as a law that must be observed. It is time for recovery and restoration. You may receive rewards for certain right actions, but also punishment and consequence for wrong ones. Remember that happiness can only be achieved through fairness, righteousness, and moderation. So this is one of the key energies, which makes, again, perfect sense, that this thing is going to bring to light. I do feel like there is the propensity for exposing season here, for certain actions being exposed, but we also have completeness. It's time to bring some things to an end. 11 in numerology, while it is a sacred number, but listen, I was born on October 11th at 1:11 p.m. So I'm like 11 down, right? But it's a number of struggle. It's not all love and light with the number 11, okay? And so there may be some things, especially we've got number 36 here. So 3 plus 6 in numerology is 9. That's completion. There are some things that need to come to a close. If there are imbalances in these relationships, we can use this transit to bring some cycles to a close. And then we have fruitfulness. Okay. We need to close so that we can bring new things in. I love this reading. 2 + 7, we got 9 again. I love this reading. Oh my God. I love this reading. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let me read Nefer Nefertum. Nefertum. Okay. Nefertum. Completeness. His name means perfect and without equal. That brings me back to that Leo energy, right? You can't sit with us. The sun has no equal. The sun has no equivalent. The sun just is. It literally just shines. The sun couldn't hide itself if it wanted to. So if there's still a part, again, a shadowy, mysterious part, this, and I guess this is where the exposing thing is, this is where the sun will come in and light all that stuff up and show what's really going on. He is the god of perfumes who relieves suffering and also the god of immortality. He is represented as a young boy dressed in a simple skirt with a lotus flower on his head, a symbol of birth and regeneration. Come on, regeneration. And for this reason, he is the deity of sweet smells. He represents the complete fusion with the universe, the ultimate success. I mean, this is giving sun energy, my goodness. The completeness, triumph in initiatives, the fullness of one's own energies. Follow the heavenly direction, and you will have the right reward and the right place in a higher spiritual hierarchy. Remember that the initiate is the one who carries the seed of light. Well, this says within him, but we're going to just say the initiative signs, the initiate carries the seed of light. Yo, this is, I love this. I love this. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is it. This is the transit. Shine the light on those darker parts, the things that are hidden, right? In your psyche or in your family, whatever, in your group, shine a light on it, bring that thing to a close, and then let's move into this fruitfulness. Can we move into this fruitfulness just in time for Libra season? My God, today. My goddess today. Just in time for Libra season. So we want to see, just like I was saying to my friend, when we come out of this in October, by the time we wrap this up, we want to be feeling fruitful. We want to be living our passion, which is also associated with the sign of Libra. We have, Leo, we have Bastet here. Bastet is all about play. Leo is all about creativity, the things of children, the inner child, and play. And then we have creation. And again, what did I say about stars? What did I say about movie stars, celebrities, etc., and their Leo placement? So this is about our creation, our creativity with Amun-Ra here. Wow. This is amazing. So again, wow. Shining our light. I'm hearing a song for the season. The song of the season is Sunshine by Roy Ayers. The song of the season is Sunshine. Feel what I feel, what I feel, what I feel, what I'm feeling in the sunshine. Do what I do, what I do, what I do, what I'm doing in the sunshine. Sunshine, everybody loves the sunshine. That's the song of the season. If you need energy, if you need the vibes, Sunshine by Roy Ayers. Let's get into this fruitfulness. She is depicted as a woman with a crown of Upper Egypt with 2 gazelle horns on top. Her name derives from she who pours, which symbolizes the floods of the River Nile, or she who runs like an arrow. That is the current of the flowing river. In fact, she represents the natural forces and phenomena. As a goddess of fertility, she could signal you She could signal to you the successful start of a new project or a new job. If you are in search of love, Satet can help you and answer your wishes. If you are already in a relationship, and what do we say about, I can't with my guides. I'm ready to fall out. If you are already in a relationship, she can bring you stability or even marriage because she protects new projects, period. Period. Thank you, guides. Oh my gosh, y'all are so amazing. I'm literally done. We have here the protection of new projects, new creative projects with Amun Ra here. And being in our passion with the 16, which is also, we would reduce that to a 7, which is also a divine number in numerology. I would not be Zoe Flowers if I didn't shout out the number 4 here, because my aunt is the number 13. We reduce that to a 4, which those of you who know me know that this is one of my numbers. Why? Earth, air, fire, water, north, south, east, west. The foundation of everything. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, right? It's the foundation. You gotta have a number 4. You gotta have a number 4. This was amazing. I had so much fun. Please like, share, subscribe. Drop down in the comments. Let me know if any of this resonated. Let me know if you knew about this transit before, if this is new information, and maybe give us a little information about what you might do with this information, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.